Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and in this one I want to go over insurance. I want to talk about Turo Insurance, what you need outside of Turo Insurance, and then what you need if you're going to do private car rentals and what kind of insurance you need for that. So let's get started with Turo Insurance. So when you get on the app, typically you're going to see that there's layers to it. There's different options that you can choose, and they're called vehicle protection plans. So just looking in it, there's the 90-10, 85-15, 80-20, 75, 25, and 60-40, and they offer different things. So starting at the bottom, if you're going to do a 60-40, right? So that means Turo takes 40 and you get 60% of the revenue generated. It means a $0 deductible, which is nice. Of course, if something happens, you don't have to pay anything, but you're giving up 40% revenue. So, that's kind of a lot. Exterior wear and tear, which is nice. 50% or $50 a day replacement vehicle. That's nice. Loss of host income, so it means if your car gets in an accident and it's gone for 5 days, you don't get paid out for those 5 days, but if you have this, so loss of income, which is also loss of rental, you get paid out for that, which is nice. Liability coverage, $750,000, which is just their standard. So that one seems, all the things in it seem really nice, and then of course you're giving them 40%, which seems high. So to look at the next one, you have a 75-25. This one has a $250 deductible. Exterior wear and tear is not included. You have a $30 a day replacement vehicle. Loss of host income, which is if a vehicle gets in an accident, it's gone for 5 days, you won't get paid out for the time that it's gone. So this is where it changes. So from the 60 to 40, you don't get loss of income, and you don't get the exterior wear and tear, and you get $30 a day instead of $50. So this is, that's a pretty big change right there. Now, if you look at the 80-20 split where you give Turo 20%, it's a $750 deductible, so it raises by $500. Exterior wear and tear, it's for the moving forward as you go up the tiers, not including any of them. Replacement vehicle, not included. Loss of Turo income, not included. So really, there's not a ton of benefits other than you get more percentage, and then it's a higher deductible. The next one, the only difference is the price and the deductible, and of course you're split. So this one's an 85-15, and it's 1625 is the deductible for that. And then the last one, which is the 90-10, which is what we use, and I'll go over that in a minute, is $2,500 deductible, and of course you don't get any of those special features. And so the reason we use the 10-90 is because we calculated how long it takes before we typically see an accident that happens, and the money that we can generate in between then is more than the $2,500. So typically, or on all of our cars right now, we do the 90-10 plan. So outside of the Turo Insurance, you have to pick one of those. You don't have an option not to choose one. That's kind of their own internal protection plans for all the vehicles, and people kind of call them an insurance company, and they kind of are in that aspect for sure. But outside of that, you still need insurance for when you drive the cars, because that's for the renters. So when you drive the cars, you need to be protected, and there's tons of ways you can do it. I've heard of people going on their own personal policies, which unless you tell them that you're renting out, I would not recommend, because if something happens and you don't tell them you're renting it out, you could be breaking their terms and service or whatever, their contracts, which definitely isn't good, because then maybe you're not insured. There's tons of reasons why not to just put it on your personal. So I would highly recommend either you can tell your insurance company that you're doing it, and that's what we did when we started, and then past that, there are insurance companies just for stuff like this. And I know that there's still some personal, like Liberty Mutual, they do renter insurance like this, but you can also go to, there's two really, really big ones in the industry. It's GMI, and there's Lula. There's also a couple other ones that I've heard of, but those are kind of the two that you hear about day to day. And essentially what those are for is when I have the car rental company, when I'm driving the cars to the airport or to the person's location or to fill up gas, I'm covered. So if something happens, I'm covered. Also, for if some reason the Turo Insurance doesn't cover everything for a rental, like if something major happens, our insurance is going to fill that gap and pay the rest. So you got to have your Turo Insurance, and then you got to have your renter insurance or your personal insurance for the rentals. The last thing I want to talk about quick is private rentals, and this is a little interesting. You need the rental insurance, and the other way it's covered is, so the person that's renting it for us, they have to have full coverage when they leave our lot. That means either they have their own full coverage or they have liability and we sell them full coverage. We have a system that allows us to do that. And if they don't have liability, we can't rent to them. We have to send them either to Turo, our Turo page, where they can buy full coverage, or send them to another company. And so what happens is when they have their own full coverage, and if something happens, their insurance covers it. So we're pretty much hands off with contracts that say that. And then if it goes over their limit, it'll come onto ours. Ours is kind of a secondary insurance for those people. So honestly, it's pretty simple. A lot of people are really scared about private rentals and insurance, but as long as you're checking their insurance, not just looking at it, but calling them, you should be fine. Just making sure they're insured, making sure they're covered, making sure that it's not expired or out of date is really important. But yeah, that's kind of a little tidbit about the insurance. Super easy stuff. Just kind of calculate what kind of Turo insurance you want to do and what makes most sense to you. I'd say not everybody's the same. I mean, for us, we do the 90-10. I know of some bigger people that have more cars and they do, I think it's the like 75-25. So I mean, there's tons of different ways to do it. Just depends on the price of vehicles, how much you're making, and then typically how quickly you see accidents. And then find your renter insurance for yourself. And then of course, just watch out for private. Just make sure that the people have insurance before they leave their lot. I hope you learned something of value, and I hope to see you in the next video.